So what does the population size get to? So it gets at this idea of genetic drift. Say we've got 5 bugs here, and somebody just happens to be walking, they're on a sidewalk, these bugs, and a big foot comes and just happens to step on these 2 bugs. There's no natural selection here. There's no, they weren't, there was nothing about these genotypes that made them more or less likely to be squished, right? Any bug is going to get squished by a foot, essentially. But due to random chance, those are the 2 genotypes that got wiped out. Now, what's going to happen is when the 3 remaining individuals mate and make a new population, the recessive allele is suddenly going to most likely become the most abundant allele. You might have a heterozygote occasionally. So even if you come back and they kind of look the same, this frequency now is, if we count the number of alleles, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's now P, there's only 3 dominant alleles, 0.3, and Q has now become 0.7. So stepping on 2 of these 5 bugs had a huge effect on the next generation. The frequencies just happened to change by a big whopping about 20%. Now, say you randomly step on 2 bugs, but now there are 5,000 bugs here, right? The 2 bugs that you now stepped on by random chance are going to make a tiny dent in what happens the next generation, because all that's going to be changing is, you're going to lose 4 dominant alleles, but there are thousands of individuals. There are thousands and thousands more alleles. So losing 4 alleles in a large population isn't going to have much of an impact, right? Versus losing 4 alleles in a tiny population is a big chunk of that population. So does that kind of make sense, how genetic drift has a bigger effect on these small populations? And so because of that, the assumption for Hardy-Weinberg is that the population is large. So any effective genetic drift is going to be of little to no consequence. Okay, last week we kind of walked through this Punnett square as well, and how you can get the allelic and genotypic frequencies from this. I want to go ahead and give y'all a few minutes to just wrap up with this activity, and then we will kind of debrief. So let's just go ahead and take, let's see, trying to keep on track here. Let's just take maybe the next 10 minutes or so to wrap up this table.